I wasn't going to put this video out, but then I thought, hey, this actually goes along with the last video that you saw about Christmas prepping. This is why we prep. Okay, let me explain. I know you're expecting to see me make some really cool Christmas ornaments, and yeah, so was I. But let's talk about that. So, I am like, it's way far out. Like, Christmas is not for another 2 months as of recording this. So I have plenty of time. But the supplies that I ordered for my Christmas decorations that I was going to make for this video did not come in. In fact, they probably won't come in till the end of this week, which I'm like, okay, great, I still need to make a video. So I thought, well, let me see if I can make do with the supplies that I can get. And the answer is kinda no. Here's why. This is why what's so important. And this is what I think people get so frustrated over, is the fact that everything which I did should have worked. In fact, it should have worked fine, but it didn't because the materials weren't exactly what I was going to use. Alright, let's start this off with. So we know that my theme this year for Christmas is going to be books. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make these cool book ornaments, which there'll be ornaments which are just the book covers themselves. There are ornaments that will be like an ornament with little books inside of them, and then there'll be ornaments which are actually books. And I'm like, neat, this should be really easy. I mean, these things are realistically pretty darn straightforward to make. So the first thing that I did is I went online, and I read most of my books from Kindle, from my Kindle, so I could get the book covers really easy, or if you read your own books, you could take a photograph of your book cover. And then we run into our first problem. The one thing that I'm finding is that book covers are not all the same size. So you're going to have to fool around with them to get them so that they're all going to be the same size so that you can put them onto your paper. What kind of paper you use is going to be up to you. I personally would say use something that's like a sticky back paper, like a sticker paper, because that will make it easier to stick to things, kind of. Okay? So it took me a while to get all of these books that I was going to use, the covers, shrunk down to the size that I need it. And I'm not using like a fancy, really expensive kind of Photoshop kind of thing. No, I'm using what I have. So that took some time. Then once I got them down to the size that I wanted, I had to print them. That went relatively easy. On the sticker paper, printed them out, no problem. Here's where we run into problems. My original goal was I found this wonderful, it is a cardstock and there's foam cord board and they're different thicknesses, and so I ordered it because I knew that the sticker paper would stick to the cardstock. However, since it's a thicker cardstock, it's going to take it longer for me to get it. And I'm like, okay, I guess that's alright. Well, maybe I can just make do. So, I mean, in principle, I knew exactly what I was going to do. Like, for the little mini books that go inside of an ornament, what you do is you're going to put those onto a, foam, some sort of foam, preferably a double-sided sticky foam, which is what I'd ordered, so that way the paper, the sticker would stick to that. But, of course, that's not what I could get my hands on. I could only get sticky foam that had sticker on one side. Okay, I can make do, I guess. Alright, so I get the sticker on the one side. It doesn't want to stick. It doesn't want to stick at all. And then the other problem is it really doesn't want to cut that well. I need to get another blade for my paper cutter. So imagine if I were doing this like the week before Christmas. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. I can absolutely do this. We can make this work. You're not going to get frustrated. I did. I got frustrated. It wouldn't stick. It will stick once I get the right supplies, but it wouldn't stick. And the other thing I had to think about is I had to think about my clear ornaments, because it has to be the reason you have to have a foam core paper is because you need to bend the little mini books to slide them into the ornaments, and it's going to take a lot of mini books, like a lot of them, to fill this thing up. I didn't realize how many it was going to take until I started doing this, and I was like, okay, this is going to be a lot of books. Like, I'm going to say, I think I did 7, and that barely, it's probably, each ornament's probably going to have about 40 books in it. That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot. So then I was like, okay, no problem. We'll make do. Then I tried to stick the sticker to itself, and that's just too thin. It does not work. So I did not like that. So that's not what I'm going to go with. So yeah. All right. So I'll wait for that. Then I'm like, okay, thing 2. We're going to do the bigger books, which are just going to be stickers of the book covers on foam core. On, each side of the foam core is going to have the book. Well, I wish I had done this in a completely different way. Here's what I should have done. What I should have done is printed the stickers so that there was one book per, each page had one cover on it, and that doesn't make any sense. I should have printed 2 pages. Instead of doing the cover twice on a page, it should have been the cover one time on each page, so that way I would have had, multiple covers, like 30, I don't know, like, what is that? 16 covers on the page, then stuck it to the foam core board. Then once again, I needed to have a really sharp blade so that then I could cut it out with the X-Acto knife or with a knife, so that way I didn't have any tear out. I had tear out. And I knew, that was my own fault. And the other part about this is, you have to make sure that all of your books and everything, the covers, line up perfectly. If they don't, you have problems. That's where this big thing comes into. All of these things need to line up perfectly. So once again, frustration hit me, and I was just like, I'm just over this. Okay, deep breath. So then what we have is we have a family Bible. What I did is I took a picture of the family Bible, and then I knew that I was going to do the same thing. Put it on the sticker paper, put the 2 pieces of foam core together, and make the family Bible that way. And that one sort of worked, sort of didn't work. I'm going to have to work on the actual look of the family Bible, because it is smaller than what I wanted it to be, which means that there's going to need to be more foam core in this. But all of this takes time, and this is where I think this video, to me, needs to actually come out, because it looks like everybody does these things. They're like, bip, bam, boom, voila, it's done. I did it all perfectly. And it's like, well, no, they didn't. They have been working on this for ages. They experiment and try different things for a long time until they get the exact materials, until they figure out the exact way to do it. Then what you see on YouTube is actually how they did the final process, not the learning curve for the process. Like I said, I'll get all of these things straightened out, and when I get my materials. And the other thing about this is, let's talk about making do with materials, and that's a big thing. A lot of us are struggling to try to do the exact thing that somebody else did, but they had some sort of material that we might not be able to afford, we might not be able to get our hands on, and it would make the process so much easier, like so much easier to be able to do this with those materials. So yeah, sometimes you just can't make do. You're going to have to get those more expensive materials. You're going to have to take the time. It's not going to go as fast as everybody seems to indicate that it does, where, a day later and suddenly they have, 50,000 ornaments all made. They don't. It takes time. So plan for this. Trust me when I say it is not too early to start your Christmas prep. because you're going to want this time so that way you can experiment, you can fail without worrying about the fact that I have to succeed because I don't have time for failure. Nope. Make time for failure. Make time to be able to redo things. Also, make a budget so that you have 20% more of amount of money than you think you need, because that way if you do make a mistake, you can correct it without having to, live with your mistake. Because one of the things that everybody forgets about is being able to make mistakes is a luxury of the rich. Yeah, if you're poor, you really can't make mistakes. You're going to have to go with what you got. So yeah, luckily, I will have my materials by Friday. I'll be able to correct all the problems, but I'm really glad that I got to do this, and I'm glad I got to show you all the problems that I had doing this. And yeah, there are lots of things which I'm going to change next time. Like I said, I'm going to do one cover per, one book cover per page, meaning like there'll be 16 different book covers, so that way I can do it that way. When you flip it over, it needs to be reversed. So if book A is here, when I print it out, when I do the other side, I have to print it out so the book A is over here. See how it takes a lot of thought processes to do that, because then you can then use the knife to cut it all, no problem. But it's a lot of thinking. So go ahead, take the time, start now, make your mistakes now, then you won't be frustrated later. So yeah, this was not the video I'd planned on putting out, but I'm glad that I got to do this to show you that no, nothing goes right. Nothing always just instantly, boom, it's done. You'll get to see the finished Christmas decorations, trust me. But yeah, this was fun. If you have ideas, questions, suggestions, or if you've gone through this where you've tried something and you failed, let me know down in the comments. I'd like to take this time to thank these wonderful people who let me fail, who let me get the experience that I need to try different things and have it not succeed. If you want to become one of those people who we can learn together on how to do things, you can join Patreon, or you can then also join channel members. That helps keep this channel running. It helps it so that I can get the things that I need to make these projects, and so that I can try them out and have them fail and have them succeed and show you my success and my failure. You can also like and share this video, which lets YouTube's algorithm know that more people need to see a video where somebody doesn't actually succeed. Yeah, not everything is instantly wonderful. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope I can see you again the next time you stop by. And I hope that this all works out. It will. It'll work out. Right?